Welcome to the controversial interview of the ball tampering incident which happened in South Africa a few months ago. I have
David.
I have around 10 questions here to ask you about your views on it. What's your current feeling on the incident?
My current feeling, bit disappointed in not necessarily the cheating, but in the way they behaved once they were caught.
Okay. Alright. Who do you believe was at fault during and after the incident?
During the incident, Bancroft. He was the dude who cheated. Like, he can blame whoever he likes, and he can say, the captain and the leadership group told me to do it. But, whatever, he's meant to be a grown man and make his own decisions, and so, he made a dumb decision. He's to blame. So, afterwards, it depends on what you mean blame. I reckon, still, who's to blame for the incident? Is it your mates in the back of the car who are telling you to speed, who are to blame when you get a speeding ticket? Or was it you when you were driving? I still blame Bancroft because it's not a children's sport. It's an adult sport. Bancroft should have behaved like an adult, no matter what else. So who's to blame for the incident blowing up? I reckon that's a really good question because I think that Steve Smith's a good guy. And I think
he's also just a kid. He's still quite young. So.
Yeah. So I reckon that Cricket Australia let Steve Smith down because instead of helping him deal with an awkward situation, to make sure the interests of everybody were looked after, they really let him hang out to dry. They obviously didn't give him any media preparation for the interview. They didn't ask him to take a deep breath and really think about what he wanted to say. They just let him roll out there and say dumb stuff. Having said that, you say Steve Smith's a kid, but he's a kid with awesome responsibility. He's the captain of the Australian cricket team. I mean, second to who? The Governor-General? The Prime Minister? I don't know. Theoretically, he's meant to be one of the main leaders. So he should have had the internal fortitude to think about what he was going to say before he did, particularly dropping Dave Warner in it. He's not necessarily a nice guy, but I didn't see Dave Warner with any sandpaper. What do you think?
Well, I think, going to the next question, Bancroft said in the interview that he was not requested or asked or informed that he would have to affect the ball with the sandpaper. He overheard talks of a possibility of it happening, and he said he was okay to do it, which means he might have had second thoughts, or he might have questioned why, but the fact is he went over and told them he could do it, and when someone tells you that they can do something for you, it doesn't really help you think about the weight of the decision. So I was just wondering why do you think, and what do you think was going through Bancroft's head when he said he could alter the ball?
I think it's a combination of things, which is understandable for a young trying to get a permanent member of the team. On one side of it, just like everyone who's ever cheated on the edge of any sport, he was just looking for the edge that would help the Australians win.
That's like they win at all costs.
Oh no, I don't think they say that on the news the whole time, but I don't think it's win at all costs. You know, you've really got to put it into perspective.
It's win for the country.
Yes.
Get the country into a higher position, make our sport more prestigious.
Yeah, and what is the win at all costs? He sanded a cricket ball. This is not a big cost. A bit of sandpaper on a cricket ball is not a big cost. So the other thing I think he was trying to achieve was his own career. He wanted to be seen not only as not just one of the team. He wanted to be seen as one of the go-getters.
And one of the people who Smith can turn to if something needs to be done, whether that's morally right or not.
The good, the bad, or the ugly.
Yeah. After the incident and following, obviously, the later talks, which advanced, what did you think was how credible are Cricket Australia and the Australian team and coaching staff currently?
I personally think that they were a little bit weak. That it's really hard to tell. You know, why does anybody do anything, and why should anybody be sorry for anything they did? If you're an adult, you should behave in a way that you not necessarily.
You won't regret later.
You won't regret later, or if you do regret, it's like it's no biggie. There shouldn't be anything that you do at any time in sport or in life where you think it's going to cost you your job. And if you are to the point where you yourself believe you've done something that should cost you your job, well then you should have the intestinal fortitude to stand up before your court and say, look, I made a mistake. I don't think I'm in the right place. I think I let you down. And I think I'm going to stand down. So, I think your question is a bit about Darren Lehman resigning. Is that right?
Yeah, he resigned.
Yeah. I don't understand why he resigned. He was well liked apparently by the players.
I think the public and the media saw him like as a bit of a scapegoat. So, it might ruin his image in the eyes of the people, but it'll improve Cricket Australia's look and the Australian team.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you got to think about this. There's two different things. There's the media as a whole, and then there's people who care about cricket. So people who care about cricket, I really don't think that they are too fussed about this. It was a bad look, and I think they're more concerned about the silliness of the interview that Steve Smith did at the end of the games, and then the political silliness. But the media as a whole, the ones who don't even care about sport, let alone cricket. The media is just there. It's got a great beat-up story. They smelt some blood in the water and they reacted. And I think that the ACB became scared of the media. I think that they're chasing an element of the market, like spectators, that are just not interested in cricket. You know, cricket is not. It's not the white bread of sport. It's not for everyone. It's particularly Test cricket. Look at it. 5 days in the boiling hot sun, where most of the players do a lot of standing around doing not much, and most of the time one bloke runs in and throws a rock hard ball at another bloke as fast as he can, and fast bowlers, they're trying to hurt people. So you're watching a whole lot of people baking in the sun, and one bloke trying to hurt another bloke while that bloke tries to whack the rock away with a stick. So cricket is really interesting for people who are interested in it. And I reckon there's a whole lot of people who are just not interested in it at all. They don't come from a culture that supports, that has the understanding of cricket. They don't understand the fineness of it. They don't understand the bravery of the batsman. They don't understand the discipline of the fielder and the outfield. They don't understand the long game. And I think that Cricket Australia was pandering to the media at large because they want to make a quick buck out of the fad that is T20. And so
they're appealing to the people who are interested. They want to come down and watch a game of cricket, but they don't want to sit there for 6 to 8 hours a day, 80 overs, 5 days a week. They want to come see people hit balls as far as they possibly can, as high as they can, which I think it's a much more intense game because you got pretty much tests piled into 40 overs, and that's 20 overs per team, which forces both teams to try and go harder, go bigger, go faster.
yeah, I think to me, what I really like about cricket is how much hard work and hard thought and discipline and concentration you have to put in, which is why I love Test cricket. On top of loving doing not much in the middle of summer. But T20 is the opposite. It's kind of all show, you know.
Yeah, they're real personalities of cricket. They're the ones performing because they're the ones who get selected in the team because they draw crowds.
Yeah.
They get people watching.
But they don't have to work hard. All they have to do is swing hard
And hit the ball occasionally.
Hit the ball occasionally. Yeah.
With the bans of Bancroft, Warner, and Smith. Smith and Warner obviously were given a 12-month ban, both, and they lost 100% of the match fee. And they didn't get paid at all for that match. Also, Warner if he is to make it back into the Test squad, he is never to become part of the leadership group again, whereas Smith has to wait another 12 months prior to returning to the team to make it back eligible for choice of captain, co-captain, vice-captain. Whereas Bancroft received, I believe it was a 7-month ban, and he lost 75% of his match fee, meaning he got 25% of what he should have been paid in that match. And I believe same with Smith, he has to wait another 12 months prior to returning to the squad to be eligible to be chosen for captaining roles.
Okay. I didn't know that, but yeah.
What are your views on the length and the severity of it?
Well, you know my background. Most people do. I've been in the New South Wales Police. I was a public servant for the Federal Police. I'm now in the Army. But people who know me know that I'm the sort of person I am. But so to me, it's really important to be able to accept the rules. It doesn't necessarily mean that you think the rules or the fines are good or right, but a decision's been made, once you've been punished, then that's what it is. So, did everyone deserve the length that they got? Well, I think that Bancroft deserved to be punished harshly because he was the dopey idiot that
decided that he would break the laws.
So I think that Smith was the captain.
Obviously, as the captain, he needed to be setting an example. So, set an example like ball tampering. That needs to be cracked down hard, and you need to really show that you don't accept that in the slightest.
Yeah, I think that's right. No, yes and no. I think that Smith, as the captain, should have taken full responsibility. If you have a leader who, when something goes wrong, is quick to blame the other people who are involved, you can bet that same leader is the leader who, when everything is going right, they take credit for everything.
Yeah, it was a bit harsh at Smith just to throw water under the bus like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So to me, it was hard to see Smith because to see him suffer because, as you say, he's a young fella, and looking at the way he bounces around when he's batting, he's as nervous as hell. He's a fantastic batsman, absolutely awesome batsman.
Deserves to be the number one on the ICC ranking.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's a young fella, and was he mature enough? No. So he was punished not as a mature adult. He was punished as the captain of the Australian cricket team.
And that's a massive role.
And that's a massive role to have. So then Dave Warren's punishment, Shane Warne, Dave Warner, yeah. His punishment, I didn't really understand it, and I still don't, because I don't think what he did, what he was in trouble for doing, which was saying, yeah, you should cheat. I can say, yeah, you should drink that 15th beer, or yeah, I should stay up late at night and then be really tired and get late to work the next morning. But in the end, that's encouraging people to do bad stuff is kind of bad, but it's not as bad as doing bad stuff.
Yeah, and also, the bands wouldn't have come near him if Smith hadn't gone, I'm the captain, me and Bancroft talked, we agreed that he would do this and went, and then maybe, obviously Bancroft would have been angry at both of them, but obviously Smith being out of the team, playing club cricket, and Bancroft playing club cricket as well, for their respective clubs, Warner could almost help them out as such in money, because obviously they've got to go and get a job, and it's not a great thing having a captain from an Australian side, or like from the national side, who isn't as respected as such because of incidents such as ball tampering or just not being the man in the situation.
Yeah, I think what you bring up is a really interesting point, and to me, honesty is a word that's thrown around, and integrity, but I don't think that a lot of people understand teamwork enough, and going back to your earlier point about win at all costs, will see somebody who does something that is much worse than sanding a cricket ball. You know, when you see a girlfriend screaming at a boyfriend, or when you see a dad smacking his kid harder than he should, you know, these things are much worse than sanding a cricket ball. So when you're talking about being honest or being full of integrity or what you're going to admit to or what you're not, you know, we're talking about sanding a cricket ball. So to me, there's the opportunity here for the captain of the cricket team to keep some stuff behind the curtain. So in front of the curtain, Steve Smith should have stood up as the leader and taken full responsibility. With Bancroft, once Bancroft had dropped him in it, he had no choice. He had to take responsibility. But he chose to drop Dave Warner in it. So I think it would have been much better if he'd taken responsibility and not publicly dropped Dave Warner in it. But behind the curtain, you know, I don't know exactly what's going on at Cricket Australia. And
well, they've had lots of changes, or not so many lots of changes, but lots of new faces in and around Cricket Australia after the incident.
But before the incident, you know,
faces were consistent.
The politics, you know, I don't know the internal politics and what pressure was put on Steve Smith by Dave Warner, or what pressure Dave Warner was put under by other people, or how he stood over other people. I don't know, but definitely Steve Smith, as a captain of Australia, should have been smart enough out in public, take full responsibility. Behind the curtain, if Steve Smith had taken full responsibility, he could have gone to Dave Warner after the press interview and really told him how it was and demanded that Dave Warner step up to the mark, either publicly drop himself in it and fess up to having a role to play, or, you know, there's other things. Like, you talked about money. It's not so serious for Steve Smith because he's already a multi-millionaire. But for Bancroft, you know, this is a young guy who's just coming up, and, you know, I don't know what he does apart from cricket, but my guess is not much. So he's probably, you know, skin. So Steve Smith could have gone to Dave Warner and said, listen, mate, you put him up to it. You've destroyed at least a year and a half of income for him. What are you going to do to look after him? You know, that if Dave Warner's reputation hadn't been solid, that could include making sure that Bancroft was included on after-dinner talks and radio jobs. And it's not necessarily about one person paying another person, but it is about one person who is partially responsible, looking after the person, making sure, and even if it comes down to it, making sure that he's mentally okay, because, you know, obviously
somebody's young, like, recently there's been a lot of mental health issues with kids and men, so it's something you need to make sure you're on top of, because those things can get out of hand quite quickly.
Yeah. And to go back to your other question about who deserved it, Dave Warner, I think that he did not deserve a year's suspension for encouraging someone to cheat. I also think that the leadership group is silly because it undermines the role of the captain. But
yeah, it shows as if that he doesn't have control of the team. It shows that a group of people have control of the team, with the captain meaning a lot less.
But I think it comes back to what were they being punished for? I don't think that Dave Warner was being punished for the ball tampering incident. I think that Dave Warner was being punished for his behaviour and the sledging. And I don't, when I say sledging, I mean both sides of the things, not
Both
just
handing it out and accepting.
yeah, absolutely right. And Dave Warner, he appeared to be really good at handing it out, but we all know the stuff with his wife and Sonny Bill Williams. As soon as someone returned fire, the guy got really nasty about it and really physically aggressive.
Yeah, with the cop saying that stuff about his wife and like people who know cricket and know high level cricket, it's a feisty game when you get down to sledging. Like cheap shots are great for getting into batsmen's heads because if you get a batsman angry, they start swinging, they lose their wicket, or they just stop the flow of runs for their team, and that can give you the edge in the game.
Yeah, so I think cricket, as I said before, an adult sport, but it's highly intellectual and being mentally strong, not in the way we talk about being a survivor, being a truly strong, robust, resilient character is absolutely vital.
Devon just doesn't have that about it.
He hasn't had it, but I think that's because of the way we're encouraging people to be.
I think hopefully after the 12-month ban, he'll be more resilient about getting the sledging and getting the feedback from the Australian people.
So what do you think about when Philip Hughes' brother was apparently sledging him and he's come back in grade cricket? Do you think that he showed he was coming back as a robust character, or was he still the boy who couldn't handle when people said nasty things to him?
Well, I think Dave Warner coming back from the national squad into a lower level competition at Sydney grade. I doubt he's had the right to sledge in the games in that. So I believe with Phil Hughes' brother sledging him, I believe he should have just taken it on the chin. He should have accepted it. But I also think they brought Phil Hughes' brother in just because they were coming up against an icon for Australia. Just the figurehead of batting. Like, obviously you got Smith, but you can't have Australian batting without that explosive opener one. Someone who's already off the mark before he steps on the pitch.
Yeah.
So I think if he wore it on the chin and kept batting, it would have shown that he's obviously his age, he should be mature. But it shows that you can always mature more. You can always become a bigger person.
Yeah.
And I think maybe coming off the pitch was a good idea to stop him. Like maybe he knew, maybe it might not have been him not being able to accept sledging, but to stop himself from going down the rabbit hole of being that nasty person on the pitch who not only sledges but like gets in your face, shouts at you, like makes things personal off the pitch, which is crossing too many lines.
Yeah, but do you think it might be a good decision for him as an individual because he didn't have the strength to make that step? But do you think that is a good omen for the future where instead of being able to step up and handle more pressure, he's just decided to run away from pressure?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. I think because obviously when you do something like that and you come back to pro cricket, all the sledging is going to be about what he's done. It's going to be about his wife. It's going to be about the ball tampering issue, all that stuff. But I think eat away at you for a while, and not only being banned from the level which you should be playing at, and you should be dominating.
Yeah.
Is like that can affect you mentally, and having people at a lower level mock you can also not help with the issue. Going to the next question. Recently there's been lots of talk of corruption in Cricket Australia. Have you seen anything on the news or in articles about that being around possibly?
I'm not so aware of corruption. I think that nepotism and cronyism are probably part of it, but
Corruption's a bit strong.
I don't think that people are intentionally set out to be bad people, and I've seen no definitive evidence. Although I think that Darren Lehman's son playing for the Adelaide Strikers was that was a bit of a joke, really.
It did seem like he was in there because of his dad, obviously batting at that 7-8 role, not bowling, and not performing once in his seasons in the match.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but I didn't follow young Lehman's career, so
he might have learned his role, and he might not have learned his role as much as some of the other players, like Dunk. Is it Dunk? I believe he played games for the Strikers, and Ben Dunk is a great player. He's performed on many levels, and it's a bit hard when people look at you not as you, but as the coach of Australia's son.
Yeah, and cricket's a cruel game. You might be playing fantastically in all the lead-up games, and then you get selected, and then I don't know how many games does each team play in this season? So it doesn't take many good balls. If you play 10 games, you might get the 10 best balls you've ever had to face and get 10 ducks, and that doesn't mean you haven't done the hard work to get there.
It's just it's a new level which no one goes into the Big Bash knowing what's in store for them, because every team's changing up their bowling side, changing up their batting order. Like Aiden Blizzard went from opening to number 7 and smashing runs no matter where he batted, and it's just T20 also offers that mobility which no one can guess what's going to happen.
Well, I think knowing what's coming, I think that when Cameron Bancroft is allowed back in, people are going to give him a lot of latitude. When Steve Smith comes back, I think they're going to give him quite a bit of latitude, because he was such a good batsman, such a good captain, and such a young guy. He just appeared to have been overwhelmed by his role. But I think when Dave Warner comes back, and I really think he should, because, geez, that guy can hit the ball. He's a fantastic cricketer.
Just like Maxwell, he has so many shots in his locker, whether that's off the edge, out of the middle of the bat, it's all
but he's going to have to expect fire. Sure as hell, if I'm lucky enough to go and see a Big Bash game with Dave Warner out there, I'm going to be waving a sheet of sandpaper and screaming in the crowd at him.
Because I think there are two levels of the diehard cricket fans. They're the ones who respect the quality of the cricket, and then there are those who look at cricket for the players. And when you're one who looks at cricket for the players, when the captain, a player, and the vice captain betray you like that, or betray your trust for the team, and murky your view of the quality in hard, but when you're someone who respects that someone is the greatest in the world or the worst in the world, they respect you as the player you are, not the person you are.
That's right. I think you wouldn't remember because you're far too young. But when I was your age, there was a chap called Richard Hadley who played for New Zealand. So I hope that he might one day listen to this podcast because I hope he has the ear voice. So every Australian thought he was awesome. He was an awesome bowler. He might even have been as good as Dennis Lilly. He was fantastic. But did the whole Australian crowd rally against him? Yeah, absolutely.
It's a competition.
Was Hadley a wanker?
Only people around him will surely know how he portrays himself outside of.
I've no doubt that he's a fine, upstanding fellow. But geez, it was good to see him get so upset when the crowd was giving him stick because Australia needed Hadley to be not playing as well. So the challenge for Dave Warner, when he comes back, he has to expect that the public is going to tease him mercilessly. Some people because they think he deserves it, and some people just because they want to see how he can handle the pressure. So, as an Aussie cricket fan, I want Dave Warner to come back. I want him to stand up and take all of the abuse that the crowd is going to the abuse the crowd's going to throw at him and rise above it, which will be hard for someone who's 5'3". But I'm sure he has the ability to become a bigger man and rise above all of the hassle and become a truly great cricketer, not just a young guy who can smack the ball hard.
Yeah. And also Warner, he's not just the explosive batsman. I'm willing to say he's one of, if not the best fielders in the world, just because his pace, his accuracy in throwing, the mobility he has, and also the judgment of his decisions, how he can guess whether a ball's going to turn or not on the grass. So having players like him, Smith, and Bancroft would be only a big help to the national squad. And do you think that Australia will rebuild short term? Do you reckon the current team will rebuild what it means to play for Australia's cricket team? Or do you reckon it'll have to wait for, obviously, the big names to come back, or for some world-class players like a new Glenn McGrath, a new Mitchell Johnson, kids coming through the ranks to build up a new face of Cricket Australia?
Well, I reckon that look at the team you've just joined with the new school. You've got, what's his name, Felix Ford and Angus Jones. They're two Year 11 boys that are just
Felix
awesome.
plays for the Australian squad. Angus Jones, he's good on whatever competition you can put him up in the ACT squad, which he normally plays, up in the Australian squad, and he just performed.
So I reckon Australia is just full of awesome young guys who are champing at the bit to get into the Australian team. So do we need another Glenn McGrath? Yes, but I don't think that this is anything that we've never not needed. We always have relied on Australian kids being awesome at cricket and fighting their way through to the team. So, do we need Smith and Warner to come back? Will Bancroft be good enough to fight his way back? I've no doubt that Australia will do just fine without these guys. Having said that, I think that Cricket Australia has allowed itself to become preoccupied with the politics and they've forgotten about the sport. Once they bring it back to the sport, and to go back to the other guy Australian cricket was not doing terribly well, and he brought it back because he helped the team bond and enjoy their cricket. And yes, they played hard, aggressive cricket, but it's a hard, aggressive game.
Yeah, a lot of people don't look at it as a very physical game, but you realise when you're hit by that ball, when you're steaming in the overs on end, it really takes away at you. It's an enduring game which you need to have the fitness and strength to last either the T20s or the one days or the test matches.
So, in answer to your question, I don't think Australia needs to rebuild a cricket team. I reckon they've got to pick the best team on the day and help the players find the love. And once the players feel supported and love the game they're playing, including all of the warts that come with cricket and the hardness and the aggressiveness, once they enjoy their game, they will start winning because we're a great cricketing nation.
And visiting England and Wales and playing their sides, we are so much more competitive than them at junior level. Having a group of kids from Australia come over from Australia all the way to England, and we're jet lagged beyond belief. It's nearly a day of travel, or if not more, to get out to England and then have to play only 2 or 3 days later. And to still be more competitive than players who just have to go down the road and really want it more. And it's a good opportunity for us who came over and played against England because we got to see what the grounds were like and see what level the kids were at our age, and their grounds are immaculate. They're just perfect no matter where you go. But the kids there almost expect they're not going to go anywhere. They've already given up on the fact that they might make it to their national side or even just their county side.
Yeah, I think the competitiveness of Australian sport is fantastic. The way we can have so many boys and girls enjoying the game and enjoying competing, and at the end of the game being able to be mates and have fun, it's great. We still don't have to all sit around pretending that competitive sport is an activity designed for nice fun. Competitive sport is serious fun played by serious kids having some serious fun.
Who want to win. They're there to turn up and win. They're there to score runs, take wickets, take extraordinary catches, take ordinary catches. They're there to make sure they perform, the team performs, and they can go some.
That's right.
Anyway, that's all I've got for questions. And anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, good luck with your blogging, mate. Great job.